the bankload. Basement by the bankload.
Lanolin? Like sheep's wool?
Unique.
Like a sheep's wool. Goddamn sheep's wool.
All right, we are live across the
The
platforms.
penis mightier. Oh, sorry.
Penis Schmeiter.
That's the pen is mightier. We've talked about this.
I like.
Well, that made it
Should we
live.
Should we roll? Should we roll?
Oh yeah, I'm not recording. That's hilarious.
Whoopsers.
There
Been
we
doing
go.
this for 5 years, people.
Hi, yeah. This is episode
Slate.
19. Whenever Eric looks like he's deep in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
making sure my recording is just picking up a lot of like
Oh, it's just the.
clunkiness, but it's
Oh, gotcha.
yeah,
Oh,
it's probably fine. All right.
real jiggly. Are we ready? 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
133.
Yeah, Brian, you're in a different category. You're in a different country right now with the claps. That was funny.
I am.
Well, you're good
What?
now. You're just your clap was super late.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you had
I
like
must-
an upload delay. It just happened live. You were like this, and it was like,
And then
I must be really trailing you guys.
That's all right.
It's like when you get the blood test and you don't hear anything and you're like,
Mm.
I don't have the clap. And then a week later the doctor calls and it's like, sorry, forgot to call you.
Oh, is
You
it?
indeed have the
is that
clap.
how that works?
That's the late clap.
They just say, Eric, will you please hold for Dr. Blumen? Yeah, I'll hold. Hi, Eric. That's
There
all
I
you
go.
get. Darn it. Your
And then my
prescription's
boss
in the
says,
mail.
what was that? I say, I have the clap again.
Again.
That's that dang seasonal clap. I just can't
Yeah.
kick it.
It does. It just comes back every mid to late summer.
Every
Slow
Fleet
clap.
Week, it just keeps showing up.
What was the one that Ben Franklin had? What did he have?
He had like
He did have
syphilis.
syphilis.
Oh,
I
and
mean,
gout.
You kind of assume everyone had syphilis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because pretty much that was the one.
Yeah.
That's the one way the Americas fought back was
Yeah,
syphilis.
just give them all syphilis. It is interesting. We review our founding fathers, but there was just a whole lot of gout going on.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
opulence.
Yeah.
I'm probably on my way to gout.
What is
The
it
next
exactly?
couple.
I don't even know. Yeah.
It's just like
that where-
arthritis.
where you get
Kind of.
cankles?
You just, like, joint.
It's a buildup of muriatic acid in your joints caused by your body's
Whoa,
lack
whoa.
of the lymph node systems able to disperse.
Sorry, I didn't want a real answer.
Somebody
There you go.
it looks like somebody's very intimate with the gout.
Right.
Welcome to Smoking Hot Clinical Definitions, everybody.
Smoking hot cankles.
It's definitely
That was
a
our
smoking
second
hot tip.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoking hot tip of the week.
Yeah, here's your smoking
Don't.
hot tip. Drink more water, eat less pork. Hey.
Don't hang out with the founding fathers.
I ate pork chops all week. And
Wah, wah.
corn syrup. I know my someone I know that has it says when they avoids corn syrup.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is just a good thing.
Like I need
in general.
cherries. I've heard that one too.
Oh, I thought you said I need cherries. Like,
I need cherries. Please send cherries. I'll put my address below. Send me cherries. No questions asked.
in the northeast of America, cherries are real hard
Buckets.
to find.
Yeah,
Buckets and
that's
buckets
our.
of cherry. It's not the season for
They've got the way
picking
to
up
move
spells.
me.
Oh, yeah. What flavor of tea is that you're drinking tonight, Eric?
It's
I'm just
my
curious about the jug. There it is.
ice.
Blueberry. Yeah.
Oh, that's big.
The
Diet
Zona.
Arizona.
Oh, I
blueberry
go through
green
these like they're like it's the
Like
gallon.
water.
Like I've got the gout. What's in? Is there corn syrup in that though? You might
There
want to
is
look.
Not.
Okay.
That's the reason I
Good.
drink this one. There's something else that'll probably give me cancer. Sorbitol.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the one, Eric.
Hey, Nick, what's sorbitol?
Well,
Let me tell you.
Early
manufactured
clinical
plant
studies have
extract.
revealed.
The tall is reference to the chemical compound, which is formed by 3 nitrogen, 2 carbon, and 4 oxygen in a lattice pattern.
Wait, really?
Nope.
Oh,
So
I eat the lettuce.
It sounded
I
good.
thought, yeah,
though,
that sounded great. I thought it was real.
You're a good BSer.
so let's make sure to give our audience a timestamp of when we actually start talking about the movie. Stop talking about gout.
Sometimes I think our gout conversation's the best.
Yeah.
You know,
Matt, did you turn your camera off?
I didn't. I did earlier, but I'm on.
Uh.
Can you not see me?
I can only see Nick and Eric.
I think everyone in LA is using the internet right now because you're lagging a little bit.
Apparently.
Yeah. What else is there to do though?
This will be fun.
Yeah. As long as you can
True.
hear me.
We'll just send you pictures of us. You can just sticky note it to
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
computer screen.
So we watched Independence Day this week, Independence Day Resurgence, and I just wanted to read the most recent text that we got on our group text from Brian. I'm assuming while he was watching it, we got a W, just bubbles of WTF. Well, actually, it was WFT, WTF. So I'm guessing that you didn't love it.
No,
Yeah.
Which one?
sure didn't.
Resurgence, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one doesn't exactly hold up all that well either, but for the time period and like at least the comedy in that one works a lot better.
Sure.
But the new one, oh,
Well, Will Smith is a force to be reckoned with, and when you mysteriously kill his character in a training exercise or whatever it was, you lose a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think they said.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually said why he died.
It was
He was probably.
he was test flight.
test flight. That's what it was.
Oh, I was gonna get
Yeah.
really crude. I was probably gonna say he's drowning in all that American hero.
What? He died
You
of
saved
syphilis.
the world. You saved the. Yeah, he got syphilis. That's exactly what happened. He got space gonorrhea because he definitely was like by Vivica A. Fox.
Well, let me tell you why I think the best example of why I didn't like this movie. When they get the sphere and they cut it out of whatever it was in, and they get it in, and the weird accountant guy that serves no purpose touches it, and then Brent Spiner's character goes, "He turned it on just by touching it." Like, I saw that. I'm like, I really should be laughing at that, but instead I'm gonna start cringing.
Yeah.
And
If
Yeah.
there was ever a script that was phoned, like probably literally phoned in, like they just called a call center somewhere and were like, "Can you guys put a script together for us real quick?" And 48-hour turnaround, and there it was, and they're like, "Good, perfect, done."
It's not
Yeah,
like they had 20 years to mull over an idea
Yeah, I know.
for a
a
sequel.
better
When you
idea.
directly address the time. Yeah.
It was very New Order or very First Order sort of thing, where it was just like everything's just bigger and better and faster and more. More, what would you call it? Technology or yeah.
That is the word you're looking for.
Well, let's talk about the first one real quick, because I think that from a standpoint of disaster porn, it was kind of one of the first in the modern era, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, the first
Yeah.
one that was not like tsunami, earthquake, volcano. This was the first one where I think it was like, yeah, the aliens came in and they were the result.
But it was in the mix of that genre when it was becoming a thing. Because, I mean, they had tried it in the 60s and 70s for sure, a little bit in the 80s with things, I mean, King Kong to a certain extent, but there was the one with the build. Well, there's Earthquake. I guess that was one of them.
Yeah.
And then put the aforementioned
Towering Inferno.
Towering Inferno, yeah. Poseidon Adventure,
Poseidon.
things like that. But then we had Twister, and then Armageddon and Deep Impact, and amongst others, kind of all happened in the same era.
Yeah.
But this was probably the one that did the most damage box office wise. I don't really know the numbers, but
Nice.
yeah.
It's good fun.
It-
Good work.
it made like 870 million, something like that. So it did well.
Did okay.
I remember when it first came out, I really liked it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it did
'Cause
too.
it was
Yeah.
it was something new, and it was just like big, and like this was when it came out. This was still in the early days where you would believe all the technology. now we know better.
Right. Yeah, no, it definitely like the
doesn't stand up
because I think that some of it was practical. Again, didn't really do the research, but I think
the effects were practical.
White House blowing up, the bridges blowing up, those sorts of things were actually practical effects. So that's why it gave it that look.
So speaking of that, I did see a behind the scenes on those effects, and it was so important that they did that because the way that they did all the outward explosion stuff is they made the models and then they turned them 90 degrees and had the explosion. So it was literally just the explosion straight up. So all that little stuff of like cars flipping was either digitally added or they had mechanisms that made them like go up because there's no way you're going to get a perfect like wall of flame out. But if you use, gravity and stuff. Yeah. So that's how they did all that. And then busting through the streets and stuff. That was like mind blowing, pun intended. That was super good at the time. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And it did usher in a new era of movie in that time because it was before the prequels. It was after Jurassic Park. And so Jurassic Park was kind of an explosion of, look at this new crazy, this new era of cinema. And then Independence Day comes in 3 years later.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, think about how interesting that is too, because at the time that Jurassic Park came out, I think it had the most special effects shots of any movie, and it was like somewhere in the high 90s, like 96 or 97 effects shots, which was, I guess, just like overwhelming. And when Brian and I made The Guardian, we had like over 100 effects shots in that, which is just a 20-minute short. So like in like in the span of 20 years, like just a short film made by a couple of doofuses has more special effects shots than Doofis has more effects shots than the original Jurassic Park. But I think the Independence Day movie is something that was, I mean, it's an earmark. It's sort of like the summer blockbuster was back at that point, and everybody wanted to go see. I remember everyone wanted to go see the White House blow up. That was like the big draw.
It was in the trailer.
Yeah,
so
but it was in the trailer. Yeah, which is funny because.
But there was no context around it, though. I think, if I remember the trailer correctly, it was. There was context. You knew that there was aliens that had come, but you didn't know when. The concept of the countdown was not revealed in the trailer.
Right. Yeah, and another thing that movie did was, there might have been some before this, but it seemed like every movie after it had like the mothership effect. So where the large ship controlled all the drone ships in a way, so if it blew up, everybody dies. And I feel like every space movie after that just used that idea for some reason. And I don't know if that was an original to Independence Day or if it was something that we saw before. I couldn't really place it when I was kind of thinking about it.
I think the concept of, because was it The Day the Earth Stood Still from like 1965 or something like that, where they send down the Iron Man, but he's just a drone essentially. He's communicating up
like a scout type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I plus I also think that it makes it a lot easier for people to digest and understand if it feels like the beings aren't necessarily autonomous that are here, that there has to be something else that's controlling them. They're not. It's not just 8 aliens came in and decided to kick some butt around. It's got to be it has to be some grander scheme.
Yeah.
You could call it some weird like pagan communism or something. But
it probably was, right?
Who's dinging? An attack on our liberties.
Yeah, right. Brian, is that you dinging? Someone's phone keeps going off rapidly. Is that you?
And also, while that was mentioned, I feel like my Audacity is recording strangely. Like it's not recording me. I don't know if I should stop it and restart it.
Was it on your input? Does it say microphone, or does it say? Because sometimes it'll pick up your what do you call it? Your
the computer input,
the camera.
No, it's the right microphone. But for some reason, when I looked at it earlier, it was just like when you guys were talking, it was going.
It was getting
yeah. That's interesting.
Well, if you want to check it out, if you want to shut it off, check it out, and we can reslate. No worries.
Sorry about that.
But it's true.
Live television.
We always talk about it. Like, why is it not the same every time? Just isn't. Just isn't. That's how it works.
Every week we got to have something.
Yeah. Well, I wish the Independence Day movies would have done that. Changed it up a little bit, because there was no effort to even make the second movie even remotely different than the first movie. It was exactly the same, just with a crazy president. It was the same.
Well, the only thing
was pretty much
if you take out the concept of they've had 20 years to prepare, like I have issues with the second one, just from like, it makes me wonder if the writers even saw the first movie or graduated from high school, because there's a lot of just, if we can go into it,
let's go into it.
We'll start right off at the top, right? You want to slate in again?
Yeah, we'll slate real quick for Eric's recording.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, we're back in the sync.
Brendan, day 2.
Welcome to Smoking Hot Nerds. So,
okay, do it.
The part about the second one that drives me the most insane is when I first watched it, I didn't like it, but it's because they tried to lean too much on science. The whole part of the movie is we've had 20 years with this alien technology. Look at all the amazing stuff we've done, yada, yada, yada. And their solution is just a big gun on the moon. Mm-hmm. And then this
where we're heading in reality.
Right. Yeah, also that. But then they have this idea of like, oh, well, we're going to introduce, spoiler alert, an alternate species, which is not the same species, that some people even said like, hey, this doesn't look like it. Maybe we should hold on a second. And then Big Dumb America was like, let's blow it up. Right. Just shoot it. Right. So that idea I'm okay with. The execution of that idea bugs me, because we find out later that this is the only species to have survived the invasion of the bad species, which has then created a colony planet which trains other species how to defend themselves. But that person doesn't see the giant gun pointed at them and go, I should move. That's the part that kills me.
And it's also like the last little piece of this civilization. So it's like, hey, we're the ones that can defeat these guys. Are you?
Yeah, like
because you're almost obliterated.
Like they're hyper intelligent. They're supposed to be hyper intelligent, have all the solutions. Da 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 da. You basically look down the barrel and say "sup," and then you get shot in the face. No shield. The list goes on and on and on of just how duh.
You got shot in the face by the other species that survived the attack. So that's what's interesting. That was what was funny to me, was they've had there's been 20 years since America repelled the invaders, and so the magic ball didn't know about Earth apparently until 20 years later or whatever.
Okay, so it got the signal, which I didn't even want to go.
The signal thing, that was weird.
Right, the president's speech went out, right? That's how this movie starts.
Yeah.
And it's like going out into.
It was member berries. That's how they started right out the gate with member berries. I had my notes ready to go, and they were just blank because I didn't care. I was just 10 minutes in. I was like, I'm not going to write anything because it's not even worth getting mad at.
I was drunk and a little something else when I started.
Tired.
And when you were done, you were drunk and sleepy.
Well, no, hungry. So here's the thing. My quick viewing experience was drunk, watched the first half, got sleepy, stopped it, took a nap, woke up dead sober, and finished it.
And then so wanted to get drunk again.
What I think of I don't know what my opinion is. I enjoyed it when I was drunk, and when I finished, I was like, well, that is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cavalcade.
That was
it's a cavalcade of just not paying attention to yourself or not second guessing somebody wrote the plot out for the second movie and said, yeah, this all makes sense, but nobody ever said, what just happened 5 minutes ago? Well, that doesn't work now. Mm-hmm. What happened 10 minutes ago? Well, that doesn't work now. At least they explain when the younger Hemsworth leaves the moon. So he's been grounded, but he's the only one who can just walk into a hangar and be like, I'm taking this.
He's been lunared.
He's been lunared. Thank you.
He's like, everybody out. I'm taking a boat. Like, what is going on? Why does everyone have to leave?
You're not arrested. So he takes that and then ends up right in front of Goldblum in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which you're like, wait, it takes like days to get to the moon. Hold on a second. Yeah. At least they explain like, oh, we have fusion drives. Like, no, okay, fine. I'll allow fusion drives to be a thing. That's fine. Whatever. But then they go back to the planet again. They don't like commandeer his vehicle. They don't like shut him down or like escort him in. He just goes like right to the crash site unimpeded, just like, and then. Oh my God! I told you this is gonna get like super science.
I have to remember what happened because all of this happened when I was drunk watching.
All right, so
they go to Warlord's African hangout where they
because there was a single ship that landed that actually started to terraform or to try to drill into the core.
Right. So we should tell people that don't know. Right. So this movie, they revealed that the first movie, unbeknownst to anyone, there was this African mothership that was drilling to the Earth's core. Those were the resources that were mentioned in the first. Slight retcon, but whatever, not really. So so they go and there's this warlord, the son of this leader, right? And he's killed a bunch of these aliens. They all have killed these aliens because the aliens just spewed out of the ship afterwards, I guess. And so they just had to murder them all.
Yeah, like a ground battle. The ground battle.
Yeah, pretty much.
From behind.
Some science lady and Jeff Goldblum, and they of course have had a past.
Yeah, of course. Because that's how it works. That's what I'm saying. Same thing.
He's the guy who saved the Earth. Like, he
was drowning in it
delicately. Yeah. Well, he didn't have to work too hard. How's that?
Yes.
He put a few viruses into some downloaded some viruses into other motherships. If you know what
There we go.
I just feel like they took the script in the first movie and just like, okay, so we're keeping this plot bit, this plot bit, this plot bit, this plot bit, and we're just going to change some things. Will Smith said, no thanks. So he has a son, and Will Smith's character died. And then we have, Bill Pullman's daughter, and then we have this other dude, and when I saw him, is that like Randy Quaid's kid from the first movie? Because he kind of just comes out of nowhere. I don't think they really explain where he goes, but suddenly when he takes the tug and goes down to Earth, and him and Jeff Goldblum know each other.
Yeah. Well, they even went so far as to have those kids in a very similar looking station wagon show up. I was just like, this is the exact same movie. It was crazy.
Yep.
But, the station wagon kids.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because they had to force Judd Hirsch into this movie.
Yeah.
And they're like,
they had to get him in there somewhere.
I don't know. Yeah. Let's have him drive a bus full of kids into danger. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And at the end, he has the chunk and the chunk and sloth moment where he's like, I think you guys should come live with me now. I would like that.
Yeah.
Oh, get out of here. The guy's a creepy old man. You're a young teenage girl. What year is it?
Yeah. Not late enough.
It was just, oh man, there's so much that normally I could just watch a movie like this and shake my head and say, like, you know what, this is just supposed to be for fun. But it does, the thing that I don't like is you create a bunch of rules, you don't break those rules. They just toss those rules all out the window. Like all this super high fancy society, or like the thing that irks me the most too is this hyper intelligent being that is supposed to come and be the savior, but then it's using like black hole travel technology, and it just opens one up right next to our base. Like, how do you not know that we're going to take that in the Saturn base? They talk about it destroyed the Saturn base, and it's like, you have the ability to time travel like through wormholes. You're telling me you can't back it up a light year? Like, you got to put it right on my front yard,
right? Yeah.
And then they do the same thing with the moon. Like, you can't just You can't just go banging on somebody's front door and be like, "Hey, I'm the good guy." Like, no, you're gonna need to take a minute, especially when you don't have shields and you're just gonna stare down the barrel of the gun that destroyed your entire race.
Yeah.
And then like you can see them. It's not an instant shot. Like it fires up and the little laser pointer goes out. Like, move, bro.
Yeah.
Like just 10 degrees. You just travel through space and time using mass physics. You tell me you can't move 50 feet to the right?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Love it.
Come on.
I didn't go nearly as deep as that in my feelings about that moment, but the one thing I did do is like, so the moon is apparently our sort of base out there, but the moon's not in front of the Earth
all the time.
Right. It's on one part of the Earth, but how come everyone shows up at the moon?
Oh, maybe we put rockets on the moon, so it's just like just fire it. Something's coming. Get the moon in position.
The oceans are just confused.
All women have a period.
Everybody treats space like a two-dimensional flat line.
Right.
Like if you have the Earth and then you have the moon, which rotates around it. Come in from the other side. I mean, I understand the mothership doing it because that's like a hubris. Like, oh, you're screwed now.
Right.
So now I'm going to come mess your junk up. I don't want to talk about the gravity thing because it's wrong, but they come in and like, I understand the mothership doing that, but yeah, this being of like, I wonder if they're a part of the bad guy. Let me just go knock on their front door and wait while they point a gun in my face.
And not send them a message.
Man, kid, that's not how that works. Yeah. Send a probe, infiltrate a signal, do something smart. Yeah. Don't just stare down the barrel of this. It kind of
made itself look like an Apple product, so
it did look cool. It looked kind of like Wall-E,
or like Wall-E's girlfriend.
Yeah. That's exactly what it looked like.
Evo.
Oh, Eva. Yeah.
Eva.
Oh.
Eva.
Talk about a movie of Jeffy moments.
Who owns Pixar?
Disney. Who made this movie?
Yeah, that's why I'm paranoid.
That's 20th century.
4 14-year-olds with a huge budget.
It's people who used to own a studio that no longer should.
Yeah. Well,
so I love it too because we talk about Goldblum was like, I'll take money. Hirsch was like, yeah, money's good.
Yeah. Brent Spiner.
But Spiner was like, I'll take some money.
And Brent Spiner's like, yes.
Will Smith's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I love it that like Mae Whitman was like, nah, I'm fine. The president's daughter was like, I'm good.
Was she asked to be in it?
I would assume yes.
Was she the original daughter?
Yeah.
Mae Whitman
was?
Really?
Let's see now. I gotta look her up.
Well, she was in Anne from Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She's done some things.
Yeah.
That's her. Yeah. So that's what kills me. Is that even no offense to Mae Whitman. I bet she's amazing. But I love that they asked her to do it, and she's like, about the age. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Well, she would literally be the age, but isn't she doing that show with what's her name from Mad Men?
I think so.
Ladies
there was most likely there was a conflict, but I still think it was funny that they were just like, nope.
Yeah. You could tell who needed money and who wanted money. Who was like, nah, I don't really need it.
But I did have to look up to see if it was Will Smith's actual, like the guy who actually played him. And then when I looked it up on IMDb, the kid who played it was the kid who was in Little Rascals. He played the original son. And I was like, yeah, that guy's definitely not the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the original Dylan.
The original Dylan,
yeah.
He was in that 90s version of Little Rascals.
That was a lovely little movie.
It was a lovely movie. That took me on a rabbit hole though of looking up the original Little Rascals and how many of them died tragically.
Yeah, I was gonna say how
most of them.
Yeah.
All of their lives.
Yeah, I think being a child actor back then was kind of not awesome because you just stopped throwing.
It's great.
Yeah, you can do whatever. Well, you can be Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Gosling. I mean, that's not terrible. Not the worst fate in the world. Oh man, what happened?
I'm good.
Looks like Facebook dropped off.
Did you not start in time?
No, we were rolling, man. We were going.
Did we get blocked because I made fun of too many things?
Super period.
Oh no, it says we're live.
We've said some fairly racy things in this one so far.
We loved the movie. I'm gonna take a look here and see what's going on.
That's good. Yeah, no, it's funny because it's like the first movie. If these movies had come out about 2 years apart, I think the second one would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But because there's 20 years of difference,
it was just way too long.
Like the thing that doesn't hold tight with the first movie now is, when did it come out? Like 96, 97, somewhere in there?
96, yeah.
So the fact that Jeff Goldblum basically does the IT professional's worst nightmare, where he's like, hold on a second, I'm in.
Right.
No, you're not, man. Those laptops take 15 minutes just to boot up.
It's funny.
You don't just like pull out this tiny little crap laptop and all of a sudden interface with an alien species enough to the point where, like, wow, I'm really glad they run Pascal. Let me write a virus real quick.
Right.
and it's funny because, like, I think the number of times I've seen that movie is a lot. And it wasn't until this last time that I noticed that they make one tiny little mention of the fact that he went to MIT. They say, like, why'd you go to MIT, but you're a
his dad's like, oh, now you're a garbage. Why don't you be a garbage man? Or was I can't remember.
It's some stupid line like that. But even then, it's like, just because he went to MIT, it's not like he. And then he pulls out this tiny little laser disc thing, and his dad's like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh, it's the phone book of everyone on the planet." Like, in 1996, that's like 5 megabytes of information. Like, that's not holding anything.
I love it.
Was anyone else disappointed that, like, at the end, like, Jeff Goldblum didn't, like, pull out another cigar and, like, oh, the fat lady's singing?
Yeah.
Like, as another, like, callback.
Because they already copied everything else, so may as well have,
Well, yeah, I just love, like, Judd Hirsch's, how they introduced him is at a book signing at an old folks home about his book that says How I Saved the World, because in the first one, like, they act like he gave, like, his son the idea, like, oh, you're going to catch cold if you sit on this floor.
Right,
Like, oh my God, yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. My first thought when I saw Judd Hirsch, I'm like, "What? Wait, Judd Hirsch is still alive?"
Yeah. Everyone else looked.
Did he really need to be in this movie? No.
Everyone else looks so bad. What's his name? Who was a general now? Who was kind of the gruff guy in the 90s, played all the gruff characters. He looked like he was.
Oh, he passed away.
Died like a day later.
Oh, really?
Yeah. At the end of the movie, it says in memoriam George. Was it George Legalia or something like that? That name is not right.
As soon as the movie ended, I stopped it. So, that sucks. Well, now I feel terrible.
Is it? Yeah. Oh.
Is it Roger or George? I don't know.
Is it Robert Loggia?
Robert.
There it is.
Yeah.
Robert Loggia.
Yeah.
I want to be the Family Guy joke.
That was the scene, though, when the ex-president, I love Bill Pullman, just shows up and people are like, oh, it's our old super president. Go ahead and say something. And he walks up to the mic and he's just like, he just freaks out. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And then
I love all that where it's just everyone like,
cringing, waiting.
And then
what's he gonna do?
Later at Area 51, he just wakes up after getting choked by the alien, immediately walks in the hangar and just gives a grandiose speech.
He's good. He's just good. Yeah. Didn't take
and like
long.
just the random schmoes that are standing around working are like, are we supposed to? Oh, okay. What? We're listening, huh?
Oh boy.
It's just like, I'm giving my speech again. I mean, I'm not, but I am. And then they try and have the new president because everyone else got murdered.
Mm.
You didn't even see it. Oh, why didn't we see what's her name get
Marsha
murdered?
Gay Harden?
No.
Wait, who was that?
Let's watch her get murdered. But
just in whatever.
talking about?
Ward. Is that her name?
I'm not sure. I thought it was Marsha Gay Harden.
The woman who was the president.
Yeah. So lady.
Oh.
They went to Cheyenne Mountain and then they all got murdered.
Yeah.
I guess.
Didn't work out.
They say it. They just say that like Cheyenne Mountain and like the succession line has been broken, and then they swear in that one guy, the general, which I don't even know if in the line of succession where that guy lives.
Yeah.
he's like 37. Like somebody had to crack open the back of the book and be like,
it's like that. What was that TV show with Kiefer Sutherland where they're like,
Lone Survivor.
Everyone was murdered. You're the president now, and he's like,
yeah.
It's like
I liked the first episode of that show. It was good.
Watch it.
Yeah.
What kills me about like the whole line of succession getting killed is like they were dumb enough to put the entire line of succession in one place, which I'm pretty sure that's like government 101. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But they did have the two people in the Area 51. They were able to swear in the new president.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, really?
Wow.
Like they just stick those guys everywhere.
Maybe there's a succession.
There's
the guy holding the nuclear football. That guy is the safest American on American soil.
It looks like there's no general in the current list, or at least on Wikipedia. There's 17 spots. It starts with vice president, obviously. Speaker of the House would be the next, and then the president pro tempore of the Senate, which is kind of what they're like the secondary speaker, right? Or sort of kind of thing. Then Secretary of State, of course. Then Secretary of the Treasury, let the lawyers do it. Secretary of Defense becomes the next one, then Attorney General. And then you've got everything down to like Secretary of Education, which would be amazing. Secretary of Veteran Affairs. Why is the Veteran Affairs? It goes through the
cabinet, I think.
Yeah, and then Homeland Security is number 17, and then the list drops off. So apparently all of them died in this movie.
It basically is the guy with the football
to get to
was
William
in
Fincher.
Area 51. And was basically like, well, no one's going to contest this, so here you go.
Yeah.
No one's going to argue it.
Yeah. And he hasn't played a president, I don't think, in anything yet, so may as well.
No. Yeah. He was Shredder, wasn't he, in those new Ninja Turtle movies that no one watched?
Yeah. The Michael Bay one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he directed or just produced those. I kind of want to watch them because the second one has Rocksteady and Bebop.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, I think it has Krang in it.
That'd be magical.
Are we doing those next week?
I want to do something good.
Yeah,
the hard thing is we do something good and we're all nice and polite, or we do garbage and we all get lively.
Right. Yeah, I think we treat it like George Clooney. Let's do one for them, one for me, sort of thing. Let's bounce it, because otherwise, if it's just all Batman Returns or whatever movie he did, what was it? Batman and Robin, was that his?
It was Bat Nipples.
Yeah.
Schumacher.
Yeah, Schumacher's. Which one did Val Kilmer do?
Well, Forever.
Batman Forever.
Schumacher.
Yes.
Schumacher did Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Val Kilmer. I forgot who you were talking about. It was like 10 seconds earlier, so I'd already forgotten.
Kind of like I was listening to the Val Kilmer autobiography. Well, because I felt like a jerk because I was like, why isn't Val Kilmer just narrating his own autobiography? And you guys were like, because he doesn't have a throat anymore. And then the book opens with him. Well, it's Bill Hader or somebody talking about how he had throat cancer, so he doesn't really talk anymore. So I was like, well, man, I'm like, I want to find some pictures of him. Like, what's up with him? And he looks exactly like if Mickey Rourke and Johnny Depp had a baby. It's like that same.
It's not great.
Same hair, the crazy what do you call them? The neckties. What do you call those things?
Cravat?
Yeah, the cravats.
Or a dickie.
Yeah. So it was. Yeah. But the autobiography is great so far. Yeah. Brian, can you push your laptop? Push it away from you a little bit so we can get more of your face in the picture, because I've got I'm at the top of your glasses right now.
Yeah, see, here's the thing.
There we go.
My Skype is so messed up, Beautiful. I can't even see myself.
Oh, really?
I can't see you.
Dang.
I can only see Nick. I can't see myself. I don't know what's happening right now.
Oh, that's weird.
Like, the reason all that dinging was happening is because the text messages on my laptop were dinging, and I was trying, I can't turn my sound off, obviously, so I was trying to, close that program, and that was frozen up. It wouldn't close.
Gotcha.
Oh, that happens anytime I watch CNN and they're interviewing someone, that happens. There's always a ding, and I bet it's that same
That's
reason.
Hilarious.
Nice.
But yeah, it's so weird. I can't change. I can't see myself. Well,
that's weird. If you need to hop off and come back? Yeah, no, you sound great.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay.
This is perfect for these movies because the amount of technical difficulty and how they start crashing satellites and embedding signals to use as a timer. Like all that stuff is decent tech, decent science. Not mad at it. I was talking to somebody today, and they asked what my thoughts were on the idea of a fan one where Jimmy is the hero, and it's like, are you talking about? You're talking about Jimmy, the pilot, who is a war-hardened like army pilot that pulls a 10G turn in the middle of combat and gets exploded. That guy? How do you turn the Harry Connick Jr. character?
Okay.
How do you turn him into the hero of this movie?
Right.
He basically is like, he's enough of a pilot with Will Smith that they have a little ceremony about the beginning and the end of all their stuff. And they get into one dogfight. He's like, I'm going to try something. Like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, doesn't he get blown up? What happened? Should the alien shoot him?
Yeah, he tries to pull back and have them fly underneath, but he does it so hard that he's probably gonna pass out. And he actually almost does, because he pulls his mask off and they say put your mask on, which is another thing that's hilarious between
put your mask on. That's so timely.
Yeah. So 2020.
Well, no, it's funny because
but I'm in an airplane by myself. Get your mask on.
There you go. Yeah, is that
it's my right as a pilot?
My freedom.
See where your freedom gets you, Jimmy?
Or just splat of blood on the canopy. I just want to see just red streaking. And Will Smith going, no.
This part of his face is all that blew up, though. The rest of him's fine.
His teeth
kept his mask on.
But the attention to detail of the first movie, where that's like a thing, is that the pilots are wearing masks. I didn't notice it, but in the second one, they're all flying like fighter pet. Nobody's wearing an oxygen mask.
Like G.I. Joe. They're all just
new technology.
That's not how that works.
No?
The aliens... Well, the aliens have...
The aliens have full exosuits.
Yeah.
Like, they're wearing super masks. Because they know.
Yeah, because they know what's up.
Well, they've watched The Day the Earth Stood Still, or what's the War of the Worlds, and they know they'll get a cold and die. So they're like, we're wearing exosuits.
Yep.
Yeah.
We saw that movie.
Well, I just feel like the new one just the new one basically just said that, can't make, or Will Smith carried the first one, and we should have threw even more money at him to do the second one, because all the comedy is his for the most part. Yeah, all the comedy is his in the first one. Just when he's just dragging the alien through, like the unconscious alien through the desert, just screaming at him, and I don't know. God,
it's amazing.
I think what kills me about the second one is like all the. Getting my notes back up here because they went away too. What is happening with technology today?
Maybe your technology has a cold.
Yeah, maybe. Did Jeff Goldblum attach to my house somehow, and he just did some keystrokes? And
yes.
Anyway, like I think my biggest thing with like how bad the script was with Resurgence was like they had so much of like random characters telling the audience what's happening because I'm assuming without all that it didn't make sense. It's like the one random like scientist character that apparently likes Jeff Goldblum. She's like when the Queen's coming in, like when they're driving, Bill Pullman's driving the decoy out. So
I forgot about her.
She's buying it, and it's like, if she's dead, why are fighters still attacking us? And then when the Queen rises out of the ashes, Jeff Goldblum's like, it's clearly ADR, because I think they were even on his face for part of this line. It says, "Oh my God, she has her own shield." It's just like,
yeah, it was in the part of the shot I remember. It was like behind both of them, and it was almost behind him in a way. They were like, we need to fit this line in. We don't have the shot. Let's just CGI the backside of him into this shot, and that's what it looked like. Like the light was it looked like a video game, the way that the light was falling on him. I was like, wow, that was some real bad, like almost like he might have been in a hotel room with his iPhone. They were like, we really need this line and we can't get you in. Can you just record it for us? And he's in Paris in his underwear.
Oh, yeah.
He just sends it to him. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. Let me, I just want to see that. That interaction. Where he's like, yes.
Well, first he said, you're going to have to call me in the morning because I'm too drunk right now.
Yeah.
Let me see about...
I'm just playing the piano. I'm just playing my keyboard.
Is this a part of my Angie's List? What's the app that he...
Apartments.com?
Oh, yeah, or something like that. Yeah. I love that they've given him a character for the commercials. Like, it doesn't need to be a character. It can just be Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, he's got like a name, like Ricky.
Yeah. It's definitely Ricky Scalmo. Yeah, nailed it.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Like, what do you think, Ricky Scalmo? Oh, well, Ricky thinks it's great.
Get in?
Let me get in there and find some
I feel like Ricky would be popping your top right now. Jeff, no. We're going to keep everyone's clothes on.
To our podcast audience, you really need to watch the live broadcast of this.
I think we could just do a whole episode of this. Yeah. All right.
Jeff Goldblum and Onion.
An awesome blossom. Which one is that?
So, more fun bickering about science.
Yes, please.
I know. So
but
another thing
in a Jeff Goldblum voice, please.
I can't do Jeff Goldblum, unfortunately.
I can't either, and I did him for like 5 minutes.
But they do. So they talk about. So one of the things I talked about in a podcast a while back was digital scale and how it's important to when you use digital objects in space literally and figuratively, is to
you go first.
Is to make sure that the scales match, and so I don't want to talk about the gravity. I'll come to that. The thing that got me was they make it a very, very specific point to say, right, is that the ship is 3,000 miles across.
Right.
Like they get a radar blip of the ship and it's 3,000 miles across. If you go to Google Maps and you click on Las Vegas and then you do a little distance measuring tool and you measure 3,000 miles, that is not sub-Saharan Africa.
Right.
Which is what they showed, again, was one end of the ship is like touching down in Las Vegas, and the other end of the ship is in the middle of a desert in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Right.
Like that is definitely not like France. I measured it. It's 8,500 miles.
Right.
So it's almost 3 of those ships on top of each other. And it's like, that's such an easy thing.
Right. 3,000 miles.
Just check it.
You gave us a number. Just do it.
Or if you really want the 2 shots, adjust the number. Say it's 10,000 miles across.
Right.
You know, because that would explain the gravity thing, which gravity just doesn't disappear. So when they're traveling in the tug,
disappears.
Yeah, they're traveling in the tug.
Vampires.
And they're like flying, and all of a sudden he's like, I've lost control. And he's like, it has its own gravity. Cool. Okay, great. It's super dense and it's a material. Fine. I get it. But then when it lands on Earth and everything just drops again, like if it has enough gravity to pull something up at the same force at which it pulls it down, the Earth moves.
Right.
Literally, that's how gravity works.
Because gravity doesn't, I guess I don't know that much, but I wouldn't expect that an object that's moving like this creates its own gravity. Gravity is created by rotation, right? Because that's what pulls something down. That's
the magnetic fields. It's the pure density of mass in a given area.
But what about how am I standing on Earth right now, or how am I sitting on Earth right now?
The mass of the Earth is so much greater than you that you are being you are actually attracting the Earth as well. But because it's so much bigger than you, you're being pulled at 9.8 meters per second squared towards the center of the Earth right now.
And so how would a spaceship create its own gravity?
Well, no. It could either be done through pure mass, or like they could be using magnetic fields in conjunction with mass to create the illusion of it. But you could create something so dense that it's like a black hole, where its own mass is so much greater than that around it. So, but what I'm getting at was
that's the easiest. Just get a black hole.
Yeah, just get a black hole and put it in like your engine number 4 and call it a day. But like, so for him to be on the moon, which does have mass, it does have gravity. You know, it's a lot less than the Earth. So he's moving across it under power. He's using force to move. In order for something to redirect that force, it would have to have its own gravity greater than that of the moon. So this spaceship that is coming in out of nowhere has to have more mass and gravity than the moon does.
Right.
You know what? All right. I'll let that go.
That thing's pretty giant when they do
it's
the shot
big.
of the planet. It's like, okay, if my face is the planet, it's like
that. Yeah.
Right, which is more than 3,000 miles.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Which makes
especially when watching.
The whole thing was just like somebody needed the shot, but then didn't really think about how implausible all of that is.
Well, I think it came down to they went, hey, did you see that Transformers where everything got sucked up in the air and then it got thrown back down? Let's have the ship do that. Why? Gravity.
Yeah, right. They just didn't know.
It's a good explanation.
They could have
I don't
just
think
said,
they cared.
Well, that too. I mean, they could have said it's got us in a tractor beam, or which is probably like a TM, which is why they couldn't say it.
Well, it was so confusing to me. I actually had to rewind because I was like, "Am I this drunk?" Because when it came in, and it's like in Asia, and that's when like the city, whatever it was, just got sucked up in the air, and then all of a sudden stuff is crashing and it smashes London, and I was like. Oh, what did I miss? Did I miss
I was stone cold sober and I had to take it back too. I had to rewind it in that exact moment because suddenly like airplanes were falling onto like the London Bridge and I was like, what did I just miss? So I had to go back and I still didn't make any sense why airplanes and things were like jumbled up in this
Hitachi building or whatever here, and then seconds later London Tower getting destroyed. And I was just like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah, like they said, they just needed the shots, but they didn't actually
do that exact thing.
Do it.
Yeah.
Well, I love the moment where they're all the American, the international cadre fighters are going to it, and what's his name? Will Smith's son goes, "We have a visual on the target." Like, yeah, Dick, it's 3,000 miles long. I'm sure you had a visual on it this entire time. That was what was funny about it. Yeah. We have a visual on the target. I was like, oh, good. Keep on going. Let's do this thing you did in the last movie.
It's putting major shade on, I don't know, a third of the Earth right now. Right. So cool. You found it?
Yeah.
Congratulations, idiot. We're glad. This movie should have been called Independence Day Nepotism. Because I like that every character of importance was somebody's something.
Like the Legacy Squadron, yeah.
Yep.
And why is the future always Chinese?
Well, because the future will be Chinese.
Well, yeah, I guess because just probably true.
Well, because Chinese markets. Because you want to make that China money now. You can't make a big blockbuster movie without massaging China so that China will play it. And then you'll make a...
Because see, when Firefly did it, it made kind of like the sense because it was like... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, I actually read that it did not do well in China, which was part of its problem because the Chinese market was mad because they didn't give enough screen time to that female Chinese pilot. That actor.
Well, she was great, too.
Like, she had...
Yeah. I thought she had more... Yeah. Yeah, she could have had.
Yeah, I don't think she was like not in it. Yeah,
they could have.
Well, they would have had to make her character much more important.
Yeah, they could have gotten. But the thing is, they could have given her all the things that they gave to Liam Hemsworth and his little doofus friend, and just had her be the character because you didn't need all those characters. You didn't need Liam Hemsworth's like cowboy thing and his like. I don't even know what he was doing. His best friend. Like, what was he doing? Was he acting,
I don't think
or what was he doing?
About it.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying we can't have this discussion in a public forum.
The fact that he was sexually harassing another pilot the entire movie, you mean? Like, that's basically what was going on. It was ridiculous. But just the acting, too. I was just like, what's going on? is he trying to be Jeff Goldblum? What's happening here? Because I couldn't tell if he was really acting or if they were just like, action, just let him do his thing. All right, cut.
Well, it sounded to me a lot like, and I don't remember the timing, but I think this came out after National Treasure, and it felt a lot like I can't remember the actor's name now. But the
Nicolas
sidekick.
Cage.
No. The sidekick. His sidekick.
Yeah.
His goofy little comic relief.
Yeah.
This was like a knockoff version of the goofy comic relief.
Yeah.
That guy would have been above the title in this movie.
Yeah, but it was almost like the stuff he was doing with Liam Hemsworth was almost to the point of like, that one time he put his penis in your hand while you were asleep, right? Like
They said
he
that?
did that.
I don't remember that line.
He didn't say it, but that definitely happened. He definitely accidentally walked out of the shower naked in front of him at some point. That whole character was so weird.
It was weird.
Don't you remember? He talked about how he was into girls. He had what does Red Letter Media refers to it as a case of the not gays, where it's like you have a character that could just be gay, and then instead they're like, oh no, we got to have him have a line right off the bat. Yeah. Harry Connick Jr., I feel they do the same thing with him. They give him the case of the not gay. Oh, no, he's not gay. Don't worry, guys. It's a bromance. Okay? Nothing more.
There was too much of that too. There's so many interactions that are like 10 minutes long to us. Like the Judd Hirsch and the car full of kids, which is like a Dateline special in its own right. But like the fact that he basically picks up a bunch of kids.
Pedophiles.
Yeah, the case of the not
They picked him up.
Okay, fair. They
He
picked
was on
him
a
up,
boat
but then
being
he's
sad.
like, "Hey, let's get on a bus. I found some more kids that don't have supervision. Let's make this happen."
Mm-hmm.
I think the weirdest part about
he does see
bus
more
thing
kids.
when they showed up, it's like, where's your bus driver? Oh, he took a ride to Minnesota. He wanted to have sex with his girlfriend. I was like, what?
Yeah, there's
and
a
then
lot
I was
of
like, yeah, that tracks.
Sounds
If
about right.
you're gonna die, you'd be like, I'm going to my girlfriend. Yeah, bye. Sorry, kids.
Kids are
you're gonna die.
fine.
No matter where.
Natalie watched this movie with me the first time I watched it, and like about 10 minutes in, she's like, it's okay so far. And then probably another 20 minutes go by, and she goes, this is all she said. She goes, nope.
Nope.
My God.
Well, it does. It looks good on a big, 65-inch TV, which is like the plus side of it. The downside of it is that I feel like sometimes when I watch movies like this on such nice equipment, I feel like I'm hurting the equipment. Like, what if it burns in? Yeah, so I had to put something on after.
Is set your you want to go into the language settings and set it to a language that you don't understand and watch the movie that way. That way you don't understand any of the dialogue. Yeah. You just get to watch it. Because it's a pretty
can
movie.
We do this with something?
Yeah, it's
can
not
we
bad,
literally watch a movie in the wrong language so we don't know what happened, and then try and
figure it
out each other out?
Yeah,
it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. It's gonna have to be something we haven't seen, but something that we want to see. That's like,
or one of us, like Nick watched it in English, and the rest of us are trying to piece it together, and Nick's going,
nope,
nope.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. That's a fun idea.
The future of Smoking Hot Nerds.
Watching
it's
Gone in 60 Seconds in Cantonese.
It's a beautiful movie. Like a lot of the effects are really great.
It's they threw money. It's Roland Emmerich. Yeah,
it's visually amazing. You just don't need to hear him speak because it's not gonna. There's so much stuff that's out of context, doesn't make sense. Or Spiner wakes up from this coma, and all of a sudden starts doing like the Close Encounters thing where he's writing all the language on the stuff, and it's like, I remember when they did that in Transformers. Cool.
And
Crystal Skull, that Indiana Jones movie,
right?
Up to everyone.
No, same. But even the fact that like the symbol that they use for the alternate species, just the circle with the line in it, like all the rest of the cryptograms are very intricate letters. But the symbol for like the bad guy is just a circle with a 3/4 line through it, which is not exactly what it looks like when it shows up either.
Right.
So it's like,
Close-ish.
Come on, man.
When like this was, like when the sphere thing first like rolled out of the whatever that part of the ship it was in, when they cut it out, I was like, is that the Pokemon ball thing?
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Pokeballs.
Oh man, right? You should have had giant Pokemon come out and fight the aliens.
That'd be talking.
There's your movie. Act 3.
Pokemon save the world.
It's funny because even the science of that is like, all right, so this is really nerdy. Just wait. So they say that
Charizard could not be real.
The super intellectual being has how did they say it? They have sloughed off their biological existence and are now purely digital. Well,
they're just consciousness is what I think is what it was going for.
Well, they're AI. Yeah. Right? They're electronic ones and zeros. Well, we know through EMP, electromagnetic pulses, that's what disrupts electronics. That's every time you see a movie or even the Queen does it, she pulls out an EMP and it shuts down all their planes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you have a being that is just purely electronic, that's an easy win right there. Yeah. Especially, and I know you want to be like a jerk about it, but in space, that's all space is EMPs. Yeah. So like for this to be the dominant species that survived, like no, you didn't. You just never went past a quasar or like even the fact that
been in Ad Astra.
They use
to go meet a magnetar, son.
Yeah, they use black hole travel to explain the galaxy. Black holes generate EMP, man. So you walk to the front door and get what?
Your Pokeball. No training that Pokemon.
Yeah, this is a hot mess of just bad science. And the reason it bugs me the most is because that was like the angle that they were trying to use to justify all this stuff. Was like, look how great our science is, and then the science just falls apart. They even said at the beginning, like, we've had all this time to use the alien technology to better ourselves, and we haven't had conflict, and our solution was to build a giant gun on the moon. One giant gun on the moon that we hope they come at us from that exact angle, because if they don't, we're kind of hosed.
Yeah. From that exact angle where the moon
defense ring, and it's just two rings in space, and it's like, if I come at you at a 45-degree angle from any point of this, I'm good.
No, aren't there a bunch of missiles? Is there a China missile system that's in space, and they just like immediately zap it while there's a
That's
countdown?
what I was talking about. They had like a secondary
orbital defense system. Yeah.
Wow, you guys paid attention better than I did.
I just remembered that, and Nick was talking about it, and I just went, "Ooh."
That happens a lot. I'm used to it. Where somebody feels like, "Hey, wait, did you just say that?"
This thing. I just said that.
I just talked about that.
You refreshed my subconscious. Which in my subconscious told my brain, and then my brain pooped it out of my mouth.
Yeah, and I do think it was
That's how I describe how I talk.
They get the legacy to all the characters that we talk about. Like, everyone's got a background, but then they have Liam Hemsworth, who's just an orphaned kid,
random guy.
It's not even like they took a single scene from the original and did a flashback to it of like an edit that they did. Because in the if I watched the original Independence Day, I watched the director's cut edition, and it's got some deleted scene footage in there. So if you remember in the first one, Randy Quaid's daughter, when they're in the original like camp and they find out that the spaceship is coming, there's like the skeezy boyfriend with the very classic, like, you don't want to die a virgin, right? There's that whole scene, and then the brother's like, we're leaving. So in the director's with the deleted scene stuff, she meets like another guy at another camp, and they like fall in love, and there's like two more scenes. And then they're in the bunker in Area 51, and she goes, I didn't want to die a virgin. And he looks at her and says, we can die as virgins together.
Aw.
Get out of my God. So it's like, make that guy Liam Hemsworth.
We don't want a cowboy virgin saving the world.
No, but I'm saying, like, his character, you do all that work to make all these callbacks to the original movie. You have Vivica A. Fox be the stereotypical, I'm a stripper while I'm in nursing school. Now I'm like the head nurse at a hospital.
Yeah.
You do that nonsense, but then you just introduce Liam Hemsworth as like, he's an orphan.
It would have been so much more realistic if she was still a stripper, though. That would have just
been wonderful.
She was like, "Look, I was making some money, and it just didn't make any sense for me to keep going to school, so stuck with it."
He's like, and the son, when he like flies his jet over, he flies it to the strip club, and she's on the roof
with a helipad on it.
Having another stripper who just had a kid.
But it's a really nice strip club, so it's got a helipad, so it makes sense.
I mean, yeah. Maybe she's like the HR person, so she's doing their healthcare.
Well, and that part with the Vivica Fox stuff, like I get what they were trying to do of giving Dylan's character motivation to be angry. But yeah, they just kill it. Like, you already killed his dad.
Yeah.
Now you've got to have him like have the heartbreak of trying to save. So he breaks formation to go save his mom. I got something to do, and he goes to save his mom, and then he gets to watch her fall to her death.
It was a good moment for the actor. He got a chance to really go deep. It was good.
Yeah. I feel like Vivica Fox was like, "I'll come for half a day. That's it. That's all you get."
It totally is
like, okay, well, you're gonna fall to your death.
Like, you better have this. I want the hospital hallway going right to the helipad. I'm doing 6 hours tops on this, and you're paying me a lot, and that's it. Because it was very like, what should we have her do? We can have her walk up and down the hallway. Okay, done. But
I just think it was super funny that they very tongue in cheek. If you've ever I live in Vegas, so I've been to strip clubs, and you always ask them like, well, "What are you doing?" Like, I'm going to nursing school. I'm just doing this while I'm in school. And then I thought it was super funny that like she was a stripper and then became like a nurse.
The common story. Huh?
That's what I tell people that I'm doing.
You're just stripping while you're in nursing school.
I've got a gig up in Nebraska tomorrow, and that's what I'm going to tell them. I'm like, so is this your full-time thing? I was like, no, I just do this while I'm becoming a stripper. Yeah.
So I can get it if there's.
Oh yeah, all right. Because I heard
it's a prereq. You have to be a stripper before you can get into nursing school.
The nursing school said you can't get in unless you've been a stripper. Is that right? See what they
Sounds
say.
about right.
Yeah.
Oh, but while I'm thinking of it, I love the way they just were like, "Oh, Will Smith's character, he's dead."
Yeah,
it's just like there's
he's got a picture in the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah, are they in the hangar?
No, they're in the White House,
like right outside.
Is it the White House?
Yeah, it's right outside the Oval Office, and it's like got his picture like in his uniform.
Oh, right. Yeah. But I'm talking about when they announce it. So it's like it's the Legacy Squad or whatever. This super team.
Yeah.
And the reporter's like, "Hey, Will Smith Jr., how do you feel being at the base where your dad died?" And the base is named after him. And he died. Yeah. Remember how he died in an experimental airplane?
Everybody just feels really awkward around it.
And someone else was like, "He's on the spectrum."
He wasn't a pilot. He was a mechanic. He was a mechanic's assistant. But the thing too that I thought was funny was Liam Hemsworth's like backstory was explained in about 4 seconds. Or like, "Where are your parents?" "I don't have parents. They're dead." Next, and it was just done. We were just out.
Even though he's our protagonist, what's the story? Whatever.
His parents died there, and I'm done.
He's mad at aliens. Get it? Okay, and go.
And scene.
What I liked is how poorly they handled like the whole like, like when the old president's daughter, she's like meets Will Smith's kid and is like, "Please be nice to my fiance when you get up there," and walks up there and immediately slugs him.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, which they don't explain till like 45 minutes later, where like, he caused a training accident when they're in flight school, but it's like, and that's really the first time you've seen him since
I had the same thought. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, so the first thing was to go up and slug the guy, and it's like, I get it. Yeah, he needs to get hit, but it's like, really? It took you that long to be able to do that?
But my favorite part about all that too is if you think about it, it's the old like radio station in Alaska type joke where if Hemsworth and Dylan are supposed to be two of the top U.S. pilots for this Legacy Squad, and then one guy causes an accident which almost kills a kid who is just the same way his father died, and then that kid becomes a captain general, whatever.
Captain General.
Captain General. He doesn't let him operate a tugboat on the moon.
Right.
Like he strips him of all clearance. He's like, that's literally like he's serving burgers or something.
You put mashed potatoes onto trays now. That's what you do.
There's no way he gets any sort of like government clearance to do work.
Yeah.
But I liked that they still were implying that he was like doing an equivalent of flipping burgers while he's on the moon.
I guess tugboats isn't terribly awesome. If you were flying like spaceships and now you're flying tugboats with arms, it doesn't. I guess that's not great.
That's fair.
It's a little bit of a demotion, and then you got to hang out with your friend all the time.
Your buddy,
your bunkmate
who sings how awesome you are, Gaston. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. The relationships just be that now. Yeah, it just needs to be just like he's definitely got a crush on him, but we're not going to say it, sort of thing like that. That was working. Yeah.
No one drives a tugboat with arms on the moon like the Hemsworth.
Like Private General Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth.
What kind of house do you think their parents have? Like those boys must be buying their parents boats and all kinds of stuff. I mean, we got 3 of them in the movies.
So I mean, boats with arms, maybe.
There's the I guess there's like the chubby one who's kind of like not as Hemsworthy as the other 2, but he's still in Westworld.
He's in Westworld. Yeah,
so he still made it. Still doing all right. When I first saw him, I was like, "Who is this guy?" Because his hair was it was the hair of a maybe a recurring character on like on Criminal Minds or something like that. And they're like, "Who is this guy?" And I was like, he's an all right actor. And I was like, "Why does he look like Thor?" Oh, it's Thor's brother. Gotcha.
Does it look like they took Thor and just went...
squished him, gave him big shoes.
There's so much envy at like the Thanksgiving table when those brothers, like all 3 are actors, and like one of the brothers is Thor.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we suck.
Even when Liam got this role, even when he was like, I booked Independence Day, and then Thor's like, I'm doing Thor 7, so
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Good for you, brother.
Good for you, bro.
He just wears his Thor outfit to the table.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was in Hunger Games, wasn't he?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All of them.
He was the 3rd hungriest. I think that was his character.
I think his character has appearances in all of them.
Yeah, he's not PETA.
I've only watched maybe the first one.
Name.
Well,
really?
A good one.
They're not. They're not bad. They're solid.
I liked the second one, and then I didn't watch. Or were there 4 of them? It's 3 books.
No, there's 3 books that they cut the 4. Second one or the 3rd one into 2 pieces
because they got Harry Potter syndrome. Oh, Harry Potter did it. We can all turn our last thing into multiple.
I think in fairness though, the books are actually. Oh no, they're right there. Never mind. They're not that thick. They're right here.
What's next to them?
What, right there?
Yeah.
Those are the original
primary colors.
The girl with the dragon tattoo and the girl in the spider's web, and
nice.
Not in Swiss, but
and Charlotte's Web, is that the 3rd one?
Yes.
Charlotte's Web, the charlatan.
Yeah. But man, this movie had, like I said, the first one at its time was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and for our age too, like I don't know, maybe like adults at that time liked it too, or maybe they went, "This is dumb schlock," whatever.
But I think the part about it too is the technology, the use of computers in that way was still new enough and plausible enough that the idea of like giving a virus to the mothership and using nukes, you're like, that's a little nutty, but all right, like maybe. Well,
you for a kid who doesn't know how gravity works, like me, I thought it made perfect sense. I was like, yeah.
Right. It's like it's the science of it is plausible enough that you're like, all right, I believe that maybe he did figure out a way to, send and receive data. That's a thing that happens.
It a cold. Yeah.
But now, with the second one, It's just you've built this technology idea and then you just kind of shit the bed with it. And just
a little bit.
Well, then the whole like the bait and switch of we're gonna put a signal on a tug and send it that way, but we're gonna put the machine in an isolation chamber over here, and the Queen's gonna chase it down. Like that's not a bad plausible idea.
Simple enough, it's fine. Yeah,
right. It works, but she's not gonna not keep attacking the base.
Right.
like they've basically come on like a revenge mission, and so they're not gonna be so easily like duped into, oh, they got me. They're like, no, we're just gonna continue to wipe out this area, and then I'll send like 100 ships that way of the 400 million I brought with me, and we'll figure it out
in my 3,000 mile long spaceship
cruiser.
Yeah, right. And I love the cold fusion nukes. It was like the new science of everything's like, what's a cool science word for what's bigger than nuclear? Cold fusion. Oh, cold fusion. That's it.
Yeah. That sounds cool.
That sounds so awesome.
What is that?
Cold fusion?
Yeah, what is cold fusion?
So fusion,
my new single,
is taking you're taking the molecules of uranium, which is like 238, a combination of 238 protons and electrons. They're all tightly bound in a single molecule. The idea of nuclear fusion is breaking that apart, and in doing that, releasing tons of energy. Energy is 1-to-1 with heat, which is why nuclear bombs and stuff are hot. That kind of they're hot. That's why nuclear reactors are encased. It's because the process is very, very hot. Energy equals heat. Cold fusion, it's not a foreign idea. It exists in nature. It's like as we're sitting here right now, our body is breaking down certain things. But it's
cold fusion myself.
Yeah, you're just cold fusioning as you sit here.
Right into my bag.
It happens in nature, but it's on microscopic, tiny little levels. So that. But
there's
the idea of cold
so many opportunities to be childish with this.
Sorry, Nick.
Right.
Sorry, Nick.
But the idea behind cold fusion is that it's the same amount of energy release without the heat.
Oh, okay. But it can be manufactured by man?
No.
Oh, it can't.
Well, I shouldn't say no. We have not figured out how to do it.
How about now?
Okay.
Yeah. No,
That's
we
cold
haven't
farting.
figured out how to do it. But it's one of those.
That's interesting. So is it, in theory, something that is supposed to be beneficial because there's no heat?
Yes, right. The idea would be that you could have a cold fusion reactor in your vehicle and you could replace gasoline.
Gotcha.
Because it would produce enough energy to last you forever.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem right now is that you can't put a nuclear reactor in your car.
Right. Be too hot.
Well, Doc Brown can.
Be a little hot.
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, that's so the idea is breaking down molecules to release energy. The problem right now is heat.
Gotcha.
So cold fusion is the myth of like you can do it, but it's cold.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Makes sense. Like cracking open a nice cold one.
A natty light.
Cold fusion.
Or natty ice. Natty cold fusion.
Natty cold.
Oh, God.
Sounds delicious.
So yeah, it's
well, and it always breaks down for me to the same thing where we can complain about all of that kind of stuff, but in the end, aliens aren't real, cold fusion's not real, all that kind of stuff. Where it kind of breaks down to is this movie supposed to be taken that seriously? No. Is it?
No, definitely not.
Are you supposed to be picking it apart? Not really. I mean, it's what we're gonna do because it's way more fun. But it was just there. But it did. Honest to goodness, the one note that I did take, I really truly believed, and it was the reason that I had. So the thought that I had was, I will just never be embarrassed by or upset at my own lack of artistic ability or my failure in artistic endeavors because this movie got made. It just is, and the moment that it happened was when they just randomly cut to that ship in the middle of nowhere and everyone was getting drunk and they were like, we need someone to monitor the spaceship while it's drilling, and they're all like, "We'll do it for $100 million," and they're ha ha ha, and then the guy on the phone with like the White House apparently was like, they said okay. I was like, I can do whatever I want now. It was like when I saw Mother for the first time. I was like, I can make any movie I want to. I could do anything because even though Mother is really great, I really love. I was
gonna say I love that movie,
but the idea is
Mother.
so wacky that I could just
Mother next.
Yeah, we could do Mother next. Yeah, there you go.
Want to watch that?
Yeah, all right, we'll do Mother next. Good.
Do Mother. Okay.
So there's.
Are you talking about the Netflix?
No,
the
Jennifer
one about the
Lawrence.
Oh, the Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah.
One.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's real good.
I love it, but that's the thing though is it's so wacky, and so once you know what the story is and what it's an analogy for, you're like, oh, I can just be like, oh, I see a tree, I'm gonna make a movie all about different lives coming together, and it's gonna be about a tree, and it's just gonna go off the freaking rails, and no one's gonna know what the heck's going on, but there's gonna be Jennifer Lawrence in it, and it's gonna be great. Done.
Because I'm dating her.
Yeah.
Wasn't he dating her?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Apparently, she made the first move, though, from what she says.
Well, she sounds like the person that would make the first move.
Yeah. I've never looked to see if he's attractive or not. Is he attractive?
No, he's unexpected.
Yeah.
He's kind of like J.J. Abrams.
But like a smarmy New Yorker.
Right,
he's a squished J.J. Abrams.
Find out what he looks like. A squished J.J. Like so he's the Hemsworth's older brother.
Hemsworth.
Yeah. He's the Robert Hemsworth.
He's been
Hemsworth. Gotcha. Yeah. Oh no, just his face got smushed. He looks kind of like me if my face was smushed.
He's a little lithe, but yeah, he's
like just took him and just went like this for a second.
Yeah.
When he was born.
I got this picture I found of him. He's like the shittiest grin on his face ever. I'm like, oh, that's creepy.
Well,
it's
the I'm dating Jennifer Lawrence grin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That's what that is. Because you know that he was.
You know who should play him? Mark Strong.
He'd be perfect.
Look at that.
Yeah, he nailed it.
That.
Well, I can show you. There's an actual picture of him wearing the same hat that Mark Strong was wearing in The Gentleman. So it'd be perfect.
Nice.
Like, Michael.
Yeah. And no offense to Aronofsky, because his movies are some of my favorites of all time.
Oh wait, I thought you meant Jeremy Strong. Jeremy Strong. That's what I thought you meant. I'd be like, yeah, he'd be great in that, but Mark Strong would be better. You're right.
Wait, who's Jeremy Strong?
The guy you love so much from The Gentleman.
Oh, that's what I meant
American
to say.
Investor.
You said Mark Strong.
Mark Strong.
He was in
no, Mark.
He was in 1914.
Kingsman, 1917.
1917. Sorry.
He always plays the bad guy. It's what he doesn't actually anymore, but he was.
I was conflating them.
He was the bad guy in the Sherlock Holmes movie. The first one.
Yeah, and in that the Guardsman. No, what are those?
Yeah,
movies?
the Kingsman.
Kingsman.
Wow,
Kingsman.
my internet is so bad. You guys are going.
Oh man, you're missing something.
You're frozen for me.
Yeah, you're missing some fire conversation right now.
So I was thinking that Mark Strong was amazingly transforming himself, and I was like, that was Mark Strong? No, it's Jeremy Strong.
Yeah, Jeremy Strong, correct.
Not related.
That little smirk.
Yeah.
I'm Jeremy Strong. I'm sure he's lovely.
It makes me so. It just makes me laugh so hard that he's like the most random person to not like. Like if you had a thing against Brad Pitt or something, you'd be like, yeah, well, I get it. Like he's really super famous, but just to be like super pissed at Jeremy Strong for just having a dumb face, I love it. It's so funny.
Give me my money back. Why? Because I want to punch that face.
Oh man, it's so good. Well, was there? What was your?
To wrap it up, I think the one thing we talked about one time was.
What were we talking about?
I'm listening to the Snyder Cut talk right now, and one of the things we did was we talked about how to save it, how to turn something around, because we did like.
Yeah,
how do you turn?
I actually had an idea. When the script arrived at the studio, they pulled out a lighter and lit it on fire and put it in the trash can and started over. That's yeah.
Diarrhea.
That would be the first
I think
thing.
that's what happened. And then somebody else
fished it out,
and then that
like,
producer
patted it down.
left, and then another producer came in and went, "What? Well, yeah, what's this?" Saved it and made that movie
with all the pieces that burned out,
with the burned pieces and the diarrhea.
Well, I think at its core, the idea that we're in this era of prosperity thanks to the technology is an awesome idea, and it just makes so much sense to start there. And but I think first things first is you plead with Will Smith to come back.
Yeah, or
that's
you
number
just
one.
wait. You go, okay, we gotta.
Yeah, we just wait.
We gotta wait for Will Smith to make some other crappy movies.
He's got to make Wild Wild West 2 and Bad Boys 17. He's got to make something else about concussions, and then we're making this one with him.
Jenna, my man.
Yeah.
It's right. He's losing that main character is fine.
Prince.
Yeah,
but you're right. At the core of the idea that, I do love the idea that it was like a distress signal. I won't talk about how sound works through space and time, but
it's very similar to cold fusion.
It's right there.
Well, sound is there was a MythBusters on sound.
Well, it's
space.
Oh yeah.
They're talking about they're picking up the signals. It's because you can send waves through space, but like how we have no idea how far away they were, right? But as an example, like if you send radio transmissions to Mars, it takes like 8 minutes round trip. So when it took, let's try to do this. So it took 20 years for what is essentially a distress signal was marked, and it was attached to the president's speech, and it went all the way through space to the mothership, and the Queen was like, "Well, that's bullshit," and said, "I'm gonna." So it went all the way out, and then that ship had to come all the way back. That took 20 years. All right, like that doesn't travel in a straight line either.
Yeah.
So and that's clearly what they're trying to imply, that this other species picked up the signal as well. But you would think that wasn't the only signal that's out there. So I mean, there's a movie. What is it called? I think it's called The Explorers from like the 80s with Ethan Hawke and
it's a great one.
Some other unknown kids. But basically, it's
Jeremy Strong, I think.
Jeremy Strong,
Mark Strong, Darren Aronofsky.
This alien. It's actually a really good 80s movie. But this alien species basically beams in a signal to a kid, and is like filling his head with all this stuff, as most science fiction movies do. So they're beaming stuff into his head, and he's like
making him a genius.
Yeah, and so he makes a way to travel through space, and then he gets his buddies to do it, because one guy's got basically is a garage, and the other guy's got all the money and the computer. So they build this thing and they fly out into space. But the whole gag was this alien species learned how to talk to us by watching our TV from the 50s. So what I'm getting at though is she decides to come back and wreak havoc on us because we wiped out her invasion on the one signal, but she has all of our signals.
Right.
It's all of it. Even to the fact of again, I think it's just pure hubris that she's like, I'm going to come in on the moon and just wipe out the moon and really freak you out. But it's space. It's 3 dimensions.
Well, she had watched Top Gun, and she's like, I'm going to go buzz the
tower. Yeah, I'm going to buzz the tower.
Well, but that's the thing, though. It had to be a script issue, because they're like, well, how are we going to get this happening 20 years later? How are we going to explain that the aliens took 20 years to get here? But it was a bad explanation. A really, really bad one.
Oh, yeah. Well, even the...
There he is.
So the people, the ship that survived and was drilling, that's an interesting story too. That's a very District 9 type thing.
I would have loved that story, actually.
Right. Where they are in this African nation, and you've got this warlord who they have become the alien hunters because this ship, for some reason, while all the other ships crashed and burned, this one everyone lived. So, like the populace of this ship just exits into this nation, and they have this huge war. Yeah, that's a crazy good movie. Let's watch that movie.
But why didn't anyone know about it? That was kind of the thing too. Like they were acting as if it was a secret war that no one knew anything about in this like new society where we're like building up.
That's the thing. It's like technology. So you have 20 years of all this technology. You're telling me you didn't put back up a single satellite? Well, that's not right because you put up an entire satellite network. So you had to be like, let's go drive around. Oh, that ship's still there. Huh.
Interesting.
Maybe
Google
we should
Google Maps would have
keep an
figured
eye
that
on
out.
it.
Yeah.
As opposed to letting this like third world country deal with this alien invasion. Like, yeah, you guys are fine, right? Yeah, you're fine.
Well, maybe it's like Wakanda, and if
African warlord.
Yeah, it's Wakanda.
It's Wakanda, bro.
Where did Wonder Woman
It's your
live?
answer for everything. It's Wakanda.
Yeah.
Atlantis? No. Where did Wonder Woman live?
She was at a
What did they call that?
the island was a Thera.
The Amazon.
It had some fun name.
Yeah, but
Something with the TH.
no one knew where that was.
Amazonia.
Please.
Yeah.
Unless you're a crashing biplane, you'll never find it. There was a great joke from the Explorers that I remember because I mean that movie came out in 1985, I think. So and the aliens telling all these old jokes, and he goes, "Hey, I got a new car." "Oh yeah, what kind?" "It's a Rolls can hardly. Rolls down one hill, can hardly get up the next."
Yep.
And then boom, and then as a kid, I just remembered that for the rest of my life, and it pops into my mind way too often as something I should say when I meet new people and things like that.
That's your opening line.
Yeah.
You meet a movie producer. What's your elevator pitch?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how to fix
this
resurgence other than your idea of just like chucking it and saying 20 years is too much time to try to recycle like that lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, don't make it.
I think I like the idea though too of making it that it's been we've been having these recycling wars that keep happening. So the aliens keep coming back and we keep fighting them and we keep upping our technological game. So it sort of turns into this massive.
All like have robotic arms and crap. Just go for it.
Just go for it. Just go deep.
If you're gonna do that, I have three movie recommendations instead of this movie.
Yes.
So watch District 9, which is basically the aliens in Africa. Elysium. What's that?
You're not heading towards Elysium, are you?
No. So watch District 9 because of the warlord thing. Watch Battle Los Angeles, which a lot of people crapped on. I thought that was a solid movie. Yeah. And then watch Oblivion, which is a Tom Cruise movie, but it deals with this like extraplanetary intelligence and what entirely could have happened. So watch those three movies instead of Resurgence.
Or
what's the other? Skyline. Is that the name of this movie?
What's the one? Beyond. No, the Tom Cruise one where he gets killed and keeps coming back to life with Emily Blunt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it had a different Edge of Tomorrow. That was the name.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Live, rinse, repeat. Yeah. That's a really cool movie, and it makes more sense from like that intergalactic battle standpoint.
So if I had to choose 4 movies, it just happens that 2 of them star Tom Cruise. So I went with the Oblivion one over.
They should have just put Tom Cruise in this.
Battle Los Angeles takes over the invasion component of
the ground.
If you're trying to catch the 3 main topics of the movie, Oblivion, just because of I don't want to spoil Oblivion, but it has a twist and it's awesome. But then also movie. Battle Los Angeles, just because of the way that they deal with the other aliens feels better than the hive mind blind assault technology, because they talk about how that like there are definitely aliens that are in charge. There's a structure. They're not just here to like wreck shop. They've got a mission. There's a communication stuff. Like it takes basically our military and alienizes it and turns it against us, which is super good.
They want our Taco Bells.
That's
Demolition Man.
They want the Szechuan sauces. And then just District 9, because it's such a interesting way to look at. It's not necessarily an alien invasion; it's an alien occupancy, a non-violent occupancy that we actually are the crappy people.
Right.
And
it's apartheid.
It's an apartheid story, right? Yeah. I like that.
So
movie
watch those three.
It had a lot of Jeffy moments, though.
I'm sure it did.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's Jeffy a little baby alien guy.
Yeah, well, just any of the aliens. I didn't like it when they were mean to him, and so it was very like, oh, Jeffy. I might have seen it before I saw Jeffy, so I don't know what they would have been at that point.
What moments they would have been?
Yeah, we'll just call them Jeffy moments.
I'm crying and I don't know why.
Proto Jeffies.
Yeah. Proto Jeffy moments. Did you guys have a palate cleanser after this that you picked up to remember what good movies looked like?
The G.I. Joe cartoon movie.
Yeah.
I finally finished.
I haven't, only because I've been busy. I watched Schitt's Creek, but I haven't popped in a movie to reset everything. I probably should do that.
I've just been watching Perry Mason, and I started on Matt's recommendation. I restarted the I'll Be Gone in the Dark docuseries.
Oh, really? So did you watch the whole thing the first time around?
No, I read the book, and I abandoned the book because the book just is all over the place. And I watched the pilot, and I'm like, oh, same thing. And then you texted me, was it yesterday, and you said you liked it. And I'm like, guess what? I didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe I should give it another shot.
Yeah.
And I think Natalie watched it with me, and we're through the third episode. Like, it gets better, but it's just, it doesn't have a structure. Like, they're trying, anyway.
Let's just say that. Well, so it's, first of all, for anyone who's not watched it, we won't spoil it or anything like that. But the basic premise is called "I'll Be Gone in the Dark," and it follows. It follows Patton Oswalt's late wife, whose name is completely escaping me now, was a true crime writer, blogger, and had this huge podcast and stuff. But she was working on the case from the 70s and 80s where this guy was raping and murdering in sort of the Bay Area, up in like San Francisco area, Sacramento rather. And so it's kind of one part true crime, one part whodunit, and one part in memoriam, because it's very much about kind of her and her like legacy and her life. So you've got Patton being interviewed talking about his wife and all this stuff, and then all the people who interacted with her. But the thing that I like about it, and the reason why I had texted Brian about it, was because I know you love the true crime stuff, was because it uses like I think her name is Michelle. It uses
Michelle McNamara.
Yeah, Michelle McNamara. It uses like her recordings intertwined with the footage they're shooting for the documentary, sort of like seamlessly. So it'll be like her conversation with woman X, who was a victim, about what happened, and then it'll be the new footage of woman X talking about what happened / her conversation with Michelle in the new footage, overlaid with more of the old recordings. So it's just this really cool sort of rolling ball.
Oh, wow.
I don't feel like it's wandering quite as much as I think you were feeling, Brian, but I think maybe because I know nothing. So I'm completely engrossed in the story from like just how I went into watching Gone in 60 Seconds. I know nothing, so I'm enjoying it, sort of thing. That's kind of where I'm at with it right now. But I think it's pretty cool.
I don't know that 60 seconds is a minute.
Yeah.
It helps. If you walk in knowing it's a minute, you're gonna be let down.
When you said that in your interview at Target, where they're like, management.
We see you as a team leader.
Senior leader.
I suspect my issue with it is like,
let's go. Sorry.
I'm much more interested in the case than
right,
a lot of the things they're doing. So I guess maybe that's my issue with it.
Yeah.
But I know like that case in and out. So maybe that's my issue. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's just kind of like it's just a series of like zigs and zags. They're talking about one thing, and then we're gonna talk about Michelle's growing up in Chicago. I'm like, whoa, you just went from this like horrible rapist that this first 10 victims, like half of them were 15-year-olds, and then all of a sudden, next sentence, it's Michelle growing up on. It's like pictures of her in the beach in the Midwest, okay. And I was like, huh? What? No, wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Drastic shift in tone. But see, that's why movie like
peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich.
Yeah.
I'll eat tubs of all of that stuff individually.
I put ranch on my cinnamon rolls. It's like that.
I mean, you got the color right. So.
Yeah.
It looks like Mom's cinnamon rolls, but it doesn't taste like them.
But I don't stop eating it, so keep on going.
Oh, sweetie, that's not ranch.
Yeah. That nice man from that Independence Day movie got it for you. But yeah.
Perry Mason on the other
hand. Yes.
Old Pear Bear.
Gonna have to jump in there and watch that soon.
So
we'll talk about it.
Are you caught up or are you behind?
I think I've watched through episode 3 and I think episode 4 is out. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, that's a really
it's
good.
all very delayed response. Yeah, you guys are all very delayed for me. So if it looks like I'm not saying anything for no reason, that's why.
That's funny because you've got some moments where you're talking and then all of a sudden.
That's how you guys are for me.
Okay.
Well, no, see. Yeah, like.
That's pretty awesome. It's almost like we're having these moments where it's like the end of a sitcom because you'll be laughing and then you'll go into slow motion. It's almost like the end credits. What did you ask, Eric? About
what's happening with my internet?
I thought you asked something about Perry Mason. There.
Oh
no.
It's HBO, right?
HBO,
yeah.
Yeah, Hubbo Max. Produced by Robert Downey Jr. and his wife as well. I saw that.
Yeah,
they're producers on it, which is intriguing as well because I'm not sure what else they are doing at the moment. So it sounds kind of cool. And Matthew Reese, I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah, it's doing a good job.
It's
an interesting story because I like the era. I think is super cool. Totally. That's always a very, very interesting area because technology is not part of it.
Space.
Right. So technology is not part of it. So like when they track down a lead, they don't just Google somebody's name and then Google Maps their address. That's not how that works.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the part that we've been talking about it. The part that I haven't connected the dots yet on is, so the crux of the story is that there was a child that was kidnapped, and when returned to the parents, the child was murdered. The people that kidnapped the child took the money and ran. So there was a lawyer that was hired to defend. Was he hired to defend the husband was accused, and then so the lawyer hires Perry Mason as a private investigator to assist him with collecting information about the case. Perry Mason gets like his hooks into this. Like there's so many unknown and wacky details that his private detective mind can't let it. It's not just a job. Like he's in it now. Mm. So you're following him uncover this stuff. And of course there's this stuff where like they get fired and he's no longer on the case, but he can't stop working the case kind of thing. The part that I haven't connected the dots on yet though is that there's a very high religious component to it that I don't know if that's there to poke fun at the religion or if it's truly part of it. So it's going to go like a true detective route. Like that's the dots I haven't connected yet, which I think they're going to get to, but it's interesting enough that I'm still watching it because the crime just keeps building. Like it starts out as like a simple kidnapping and murder, and all of a sudden then it becomes like high extortion, then it becomes like high conspiracy. So it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and like something that was so, I don't call it simple, but so small and little is now so much bigger that every time he uncovers something, it opens up 5 more things he has to unwind. So that's the part that's really exciting, is because again they're all doing it old school, like following people, tracking them down, listening on their phones. The interesting stuff that he's doing, like calling people and pretending to be something else and how much information people just offer up when you say you work for the phone company kind of thing. It's really, it's interesting.
Does he give terrible voices? Hello!
I think he does, actually. He does do a funny voice once or twice.
Okay.
Is it as funny as Harrison Ford's in Blade Runner?
It's like he's a very flawed... Oh, God.
What were you saying, Brian?
Man. Oh, I would just say, like, and he's, on top of all that, he's an incredibly flawed individual with, like, more demons than, like, most people would be prepared to handle.
Yeah, and he looks like it, too. Just the little bits I've seen, the makeup is just fantastic on him. He looks ridiculous.
It's real. Yeah, he's not the...
Because he's super polished in the show in the 50s and 60s. He's like the super polished character, not the bedraggled sort of rubber foot. What do they call it? Gumshoe.
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 The old floppy knuckle.
Oh, rubber foot.
Gumshoe. Okay.
I knew what you were saying.
I've been listening on Audible to the Stephen King novel 11 whenever Kennedy was killed. 11/22/63. I always want to say 11/23/64, and that's just not right. But you would understand what I was saying if I said that. But either way, same thing, where there's just a ton of real life stuff that we just we didn't even grow up using the internet until we were kind of a conscious age, but we just 1,000,000% take it for granted. Like, you need to know something, you look it up. That's it. It's super easy. So in this book, there's a ton of that same thing, following people, trailing, bugging their houses, like a lot of physical work you have to do to find things out. It puts you in a completely different mindset. I told Brian I almost just want him to tell me how the book ends because I can't deal with it anymore. It's so good.
The knowledge labor.
It's just putting me into a state of mind because it's like it's super engrossing, and I become so attached to these characters because you're talking about like a 700, 800 page novel that is broken down into like 40 hours of read time. So I think I've got like 9 hours left or something on it, and I'm just like I'm completely engrossed in these characters to a point where I don't even know, like, when I come out of it, like, what's real or not. I got 2.5 hours on the road. I'm going to listen to it on the way there because I just need to get to the end of it.
Is this why you're taking gigs now? I need a gig that's far enough away that it'll give me time.
That's
I need a good 6-chapter gig.
Yeah.
Well, and what did I say to you when you said, like, it was like screwing with your head?
Well, you said that means it's a good story. That's the earmarks of a good story. And yeah, you're right. No, totally. 100%. So I'm balancing now. I think I got too much into it. And so now I'm like, I'll listen to it, then I'll switch to a podcast and that kind of thing. And, work on some
You're just
stuff.
Eating at all the greasy spoons you can to just find out if they've got a secret, like, wormhole in the back.
Yeah. I'm walking around telling people that I'm a rubber foot.
But that's why I'm like so mad with how bad they botched the TV show.
Oh, right. And I don't even want to watch it. I don't want to know anything about it because I don't want it to ruin my perspective on the book. But the thing is it could be a phenomenal series, like True Detective style. If you did like 12 episodes, it would be amazing. And just don't change anything. Because you don't have to change anything.
Yeah.
In a story like this, you don't have to change anything. What's there to change?
Yeah, just copy the book into Final Draft. Done.
Scene.
Yeah.
Well,
because
Stephen King is notorious for writing a great book with no ending that doesn't make a good movie.
Well,
like his work is not a visual medium. I'm sure. I mean, I was exposed to the series first,
right?
So I watched the series, and then at some point, you see, like, based on the novel by Stephen King, that immediately put me. It automatically changed the way I thought about all of it because I knew my preconceived notions kicked in about Stephen King and the ending and stuff. And I was like, I bet this book is amazing. But I also don't have 800 pages of free time.
Well, neither do I, but I'm driving all the time right now. Like every gig is out of town, obviously. Well, not every gig, but a lot of them are. And so it's just like I have all this driving time. So I abandoned Val Kilmer's book for now to revisit this one because I had listened to half of it years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and just got too sucked into it. And I couldn't. I was like, I can't do this. And so I'm doing it again. And it's ripping my brain apart, so I need to just get.
That's gotta be hard driving, though. I tried to listen to things that aren't music while driving, and I found that either I became too focused on the road and didn't hear, and almost had to like rewind a chapter, or I got so engrossed into it that I rode a bus off the bridge or something.
Right?
I can't balance.
See, I don't listen to music ever. I never listen to music. I need more music in my life,
either.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been okay with what was years ago, like the Harry Potters on audio, because those are very fun listens. Because the guy who does it, but
Well, Eric, you used to listen to movies on in your tape recorder in your car, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I'd have scores.
Yeah. Oh, scores. Like, I thought you had like Star Wars like on a cassette tape that you would just listen
audio
to.
Star Wars.
Yeah, which makes sense. Passes the time nicely.
Yeah. No, I would listen to the scores and then run the like what's happening.
Gotcha.
In my head.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
While running a bus off a bridge. Going pew pew.
Yeah, no, I tried to listen to a podcast on one of our trips to Disney, and I think I listened to it start to finish. But there's a point where I got like, it was middle of the afternoon. I started like getting drowsy, like, oh no, and then was just like not even hearing the words because I was so focused on the road. I was like, I can't do this. It's something of that nature. I've got to be focused on. I can't have this ancillary noise. Like music for me in some cases, especially it's always stations I know the music to because it's there as background noise, but I don't have to focus on. But if it's like something I'm trying to concentrate on, it's like, and then off the road.
Never.
And then we take a bus to school children into a ditch.
You should be driving a bus anyways.
That's true. I'm not Judd Hirsch.
Yeah. No.
Yo, call back. Pew.
Go team. So, I think on Independence Day, thumbs like here-ish. It wasn't an all the way thumbs down, but it was like a side.
Just some droopy, like a droopy thumb.
Yeah. Like that kind of a thumb. Yeah. It's a mushy thumb. What did you give it when you saw it in the theater, Nico?
Resurgence? It was a 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
It might
rare.
have been a 2. It might have been a 2. Because a 1 out of 5, I guess, would have been
a number 2.
A 1 out of 5 is no one should like this movie ever. A 2 out of 5 is I liked it, but I know a lot of people won't. So it probably got the 2.
What?
I know I didn't give it a 3.
What are some notable ones that you've given?
There's very few. We had this talk one time. Like a lot of times, if I haven't seen it,
it's not Five Goes West because
it's automatically but a lot of it would be. It's a movie that is just like I think I gave Silence a 1 out of 5. The Martin Scorsese about the priests that are looking for a lost
Liam Neeson one.
Yeah,
that one gets pooped on a lot.
I gave that a 1 out of 5 because no one should see that movie. It's
that's awesome.
So much letdown.
It's a great way to describe a movie like that. Just no one should see it. It's just not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not even in like a morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
Like don't even just take my word for it.
I'll watch it tonight.
It's like 3 hours long, so have fun. I think I gave it like a 2 out of 5 because I couldn't say that it was good. Resurgence, just because for the stuff for me specifically, just all the science being so wrong, it immediately just disconnects me, and then the logistical part of the super species that doesn't know how to move out of the way of getting shot in the face, like just all that kind of stuff. The fact that they open up a wormhole on the surface of the moon, like we wouldn't get mad and shoot at them. Like you're moving through space and time. You don't need to land on my front door, man. You can you can back it off a little bit and then drive up slowly. Maybe make a little like intergalactic white flag. I'm not here to hurt you.
You need to put that phrase on a bumper sticker.
Which
the whole thing?
The whole thing.
You just travel through space and time. You don't need to land on my front step.
That's like back up.
Yeah.
That's the long, drawn out way of saying
just back off, bro. Well,
the
thing too, though, that really bugs me in movies, and I get why it's just cuts, and it's just nonsense of, these poor actors are in these cockpits and being told to say things, and you're here, you're there, now make this noise. But I was watching it with my headphones, and at one point in time, I had that moment where I got distracted and I was on my phone, and all I heard was just cuts between pilots going, and it's just this constant, like, taking nosedives and just making noises, and I was like, "What is going?" So I'm coming up from my phone, like, "What is going on? What could be happening right now?"
Now what?
Because I know it's not a bunch of diarrhea. So what is happening?
I like this nuisance, like you're at work and like someone's calling you, and you're like, "Oh, like it's the same thing with this movie." Like, what now? What?
Right.
You gotta be.
So if it wasn't for our podcast, I wouldn't be watching it. So I'm just it is work. I'm just like, what? Independence Day resurgence.
What do you want?
Yes, you're right.
You were just here.
Sometimes it's hard to take a nosedive. Can I get back to Instagram?
It was like my buddy said at one point, a movie that you definitely should never just listen to is the Kung Fu Panda movies. Because I guess there's a part where Jack Black, just for like 15 minutes straight, just goes, hi, oh
man. That makes me crazy.
I just never watched Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, I just never watch animated movies anyways. Usually.
Yeah.
Unless it's G.I. Joe.
First one, yeah. So real quick, in that G.I. Joe that animated movie, there's a part, it's crazy first off.
Yeah.
But the best thing, all I'll say is that there's two times where Serpentor yells, Cobra! But he adds on Cobra, la 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 la. And while he's like he's turning his snakes into spears, a la James Earl Jones and Conan.
Yeah.
And Cobra, la 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 la.
And they're actually picking up snakes. And the snakes are turning like hard, right? And then he throws them. I remember that.
He's warming them up.
Yeah.
And then throwing them.
And then they go,
I feel like there's an analogy in here somewhere.
Right. Something.
One of them puts Duke in a coma.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. I bet it does.
I was trying to come up with a joke with Duke in it.
Cobra, la la la.
Dookie like some nookie. Gross.
Gross.
1 out of 5.
But 5 out of 5.
Yeah, so Mother next week. I like that plan.
Oh, Mother. Yeah, I'll watch that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it hangs on, so I won't be surprised.
I've seen it.
Yeah. We've all seen it except for Eric.
Just me.
Okay.
I'm the dummy.
Yeah, but that's okay.
That's
I'm
definitely
excited you want to watch it.
Not to. You need to block out. You can't break that one up. The movie won't let you break it up.
How is it long?
No, it's like an hour and 30.
No, it's just.
It's not super long. It's just Bonkerstown.
It's
so
short.
Yeah, hang out with it though.
But it will feel like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
By design.
And I would say don't be too tired, but be medium tired, because there's just like a lot going on that's like just gets bonkers. So, but I mean, I don't know how your brain works. Yeah. So you do you. Yeah. Maybe less.
Yeah,
and a little more.
Don't watch it drunk.
Okay.
You can watch it one time drunk, but then you're definitely going to want to watch it again, because you're going to get to the end and be like, was that a boob? I don't remember.
Just make sure when you show up, your snake is still slithering, if you know what I mean.
Cobra, la 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 la.
Yeah.
La, la,
Okay.
la,
Like
la.
la la, less la la la, and a little more
Yeah.
la la la.
Like a la.
Yeah.
La la la. La la la.
Yeah.
La
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 la la.
Like that.
la. Thanks for listening to Smoking Hot Nerds. Where we turned into middle schoolers.
We're in episode 19? 18. 18 today. So we're creeping up on episode 20.
We are legal,
Yeah.
boys.
We are Cobra la la la.
La 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 la.
I was thinking one of these times because I think it's starting to pop
Cobra.
up now where the movies that we grew up with are starting to hit like the 30th anniversary type stuff.
Yep.
So,
Or 40th.
that
Well,
might-
Inception's
I'm trying to-
10 years old, so that's
I'm
weird
not sure
enough.
what the next big anniversary movie is, but we should try to get that on our radar too. If we're into that stage now where we're talking about what we're doing next.
Well, 1980. So yeah, Empire Strikes Back turned 40.
Yep.
Like now. Something else. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, so,
1984. All that crap's coming up in a few years. 81, 82, 83.
so we could do like a 40, 30, 20.
We already did
What do you
Vampire's Kiss. We can do it again.
I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and do Vampires. Kiss.
Maybe every 20 episodes we just do
wish-
Vampire's Kiss.
I wish we had done that one like watching it in a different language.
man.
Yeah. It felt like it, though. Kind of.
That's true.
We should all think on
Yeah.
that concept. I
Yeah.
think that could be a fun ass episode if
Yeah.
one of us knew what
Yeah.
actually happened.
Yeah.
I feel like Nick pays attention better than me. Brian probably pay attention well too. Matt and I might be sleepy.
Yeah.
It'd be
occasionally
interesting
sleepy,
to,
for sure.
to try to figure out because like what type of movie do you watch do you watch like an action movie in a foreign language? You obviously don't watch a drama because that's the whole point is the conversation.
Yeah, I think
So-
an action. I mean, it should have. I mean, it's
Jackie
got to be
Chan.
something like Independence Day. I mean, because there's a lot of movies on that level that I've just not seen yet, and
Yeah.
so
Okay.
it'd be great.
Is one, but well, I guess I have seen it. What the hell's it called? It's like a Armageddon, but it's Chinese.
Oh,
Was I telling you guys about this? I did it on my
I think
other
you were,
podcast.
yeah.
What's it called? I can't remember, but it's on Netflix. Earth something. Something Earth.
keep going. Gumshoe Earth. It's
Rubber
Rubberfoot Earth.
Rubberfoot Earth.
Slinky Snake Earth.
Earth
la 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 la.
Earth. Yeah.
It'll come to you. We got time.
I bet
The
it's-
Earth is moving.
Nope.
Are you trying to convince me?
I'm gonna look it up here.
No,
I mean,
that's
it's-
like the.
It's flat, so
Yeah, it's flat.
which is the only way a 3,000 mile across spaceship.
We
war on drugs cost
Oh, whoops.
beta people, and I'm like, what? What'd
Night
you say,
on
Lewis?
Earth? No. Earthquake
No,
Bird?
Earthquake
That's
Bird
actually I'm reading actual titles of movies on Netflix right now.
on Netflix.
Yeah, there's Earthquake Bird, which we probably need to watch that now because that sounds
Yeah.
amazing. The Wandering Earth.
Wandering Earth.
Yep, I only knew it because it's got Chinese stuff on it. So nailed it.
Are we gonna do that really weird Netflix Bird Box movie where they have to be blindfolded? Are we gonna do that one?
Oh, we should watch it blindfolded.
What's that?
That should be the real.
Did you not
challenge.
see Bird Box?
I did not watch it.
I've never seen it.
I remember this whole phenomenon though. I did.
What is it?
Sandra
It's-
Bullock with a blindfold on,
Oh,
and then people were like imitating it in their real life.
Well, that's actually how I watched
I
Blindside.
think somebody was injured severely. Yes,
Really? Sheesh.
people. Are
what
dumb,
do you do, Matt?
man.
That's how you drive?
No, that's how I watched Blindside. I just blindfolded myself.
She has a thing for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blindside
Oh, that's kind of
and
weird. Yeah.
Box.
Interesting. Miss
I would've
Congeniality
swapped
is
and-
blind.
Yeah, it's congeniality. Yeah.
We could add that. I'd watch Bird Box
Beauty
again.
is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to watch that one. But yeah, that's
Well, I was thinking too that we there is a couple of science fiction movies that are on Netflix now. Like there's the one with what's her name?
Love it.
Halle Berry. Nope. Hilary Swank. Hilary Swank, right?
The Core?
She's in. No, it's relatively new. It's like where this kid is raised by a robot, and the robot tells the kid that there's no humans left, and then Hilary Swank shows up. And the kid's
I Am
like,
Mother.
I Am Mother. So I Am Mother. That would be an interesting one to watch in a different language.
You guys were talking about earlier.
Oh.
Yeah. I Am Mother's good too.
Yeah. I've not seen it.
Oh. Yeah. Sorry. It just hit hard. My brain just went.
Your brain turned into a hard snake all of a sudden.
La 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 la.
Well, Mother's going to be an interesting episode because it is interesting that we can wander around. Because I really thought tonight, I was like, this episode's going to be, probably an hour and a half or so. But we find ways. So we'll see where Mother takes us for sure.
We do it for the people.
We do. It's true.
It's going to take us places.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got 3 concurrent viewers on YouTube and
one's me. Yay!
No one on Facebook. That's okay. Just me. That was fun. But any parting thoughts, gentlemen, before we wrap
this
it
has
up?
been painful because I hear about every third word you guys say. The rest of it sounds like
that's brutal.
Yeah, I would check and make sure that you're not like silently downloading something.
So you really missed out.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've got like a Windows update or a virus scan or something happening in your background, but for it to be clogging up your network like that is some data is getting pushed.
It might be.
I don't know what it would be.
Cobra Snake.
It's TikTok silently being surveyed.
Yeah,
I have nothing running. I don't know what it is.
It's because you were fine up front, so yeah, I don't know what the deal is. You never
The
know.
Chinese.
Or just something in the the Wandering Earth. Something in the house, maybe chewing up some data. Because my laptop was doing that to me secretly while I was like trying to watch Netflix or whatever, and it was just like all choppy and gross. I was like, "What's going on?" Or whatever I was doing on my phone, and then I was like, I heard this kind of spinning noise, and I went over to my laptop, and my laptop was closed. And Creative Cloud was trying to update Photoshop and After Effects, and it was just updating, and it was syncing all the files. And I was like, "What are you doing? You're closed!" Just chewing it all up. So yeah, it happens.
It's not closed.
It's not closed. It was definitely open. If you know what I mean.
Oh, the amount of stuff that happens when you don't think your computer's running.
Hey, don't scare me.
You know what? Maybe it was. I don't know what it would be because all of a sudden it's cleared up.
Yeah, you're good now.
It's been garbage for an hour and a half.
It knew you were done.
Agent Smith logged off. They're onto us.
Yeah, they can tell we're here.
The NSA got bored. They thought we were talking about planning an alien invasion. They're listening in for the keywords. Then realized there were just 4 a-holes talking about 2 movies.
They were like, these guys have some interesting ideas on cold fusion. Let's listen in. And then the other agent was like, I think they're talking about Armageddon. No, not Armageddon.
No.
Independence
And
Day.
it took them that long. It's just like, let's just keep listening.
Yeah. It's a great episode.
Oh, the Serpentor. Look up. Who's Serpentor? We need to know.
Well, agents, if you are listening, please just watch us on YouTube or Facebook, or listen to us on Apple when it comes out, because it really ruined Brian's experience tonight.
Subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Everybody,
smash that like button.
Yeah, we're up to like 300 or some likes on that photo that I boosted, so I'm pretty excited about that. So gonna have to do more of that stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is trickle marketing.
Exactly, trickle dickle.
It'll get to the point where people are like, "Oh yeah, I do that." I watch
313 likes on our sponsored posts on the gram. So people are liking it.
Hello.
I just got to get us caught up now on
Apple.
Yeah, Apple, Spotify. I think I'm only through Space Force. I think right now. Yeah.
No, you're on. Snyder came after Space Force.
Oh, did
that's the one I'm listening to right now.
Yeah, so I got a backlog. I think I got like 3 or 4 that I need to put up. So I need to get on that. So thanks, folks, for being patient with us. Yay! So everyone, thanks for listening. Appreciate it. We'll be back next week with Mother. So in the meantime, find us on Apple or Spotify. Like us, subscribe to us, comment on our posts. All those things help. It's just
comments are great.
It's just an attention grab is all it is. So,
yep.
But thanks for listening, gentlemen. As always, it's been fun.